We are live. Welcome to the Saying It Differently podcast. We are back with your hosts, Darik Papasaun Contreras and Derek Chandler.
No Snack on Black anymore?
No, Derek snackonblack.com founder, Chandler. I'm sorry, it's just, we're listening to a song by Lil Duval, I'm dropping dick off. And so for those of you that don't know, it's about 6:30 in the morning. But in order to set this up and to get things going, you know, I got to kind of wake up at 5 and, you know, stay in the night on a Saturday night with your lady, and you got to wake up and you start getting questions. Where are you going at 5 o'clock in the morning?
You don't want to stay for breakfast?
You hear a number of things, but the funniest thing is, are you going to talk to other hoes? I'm all, baby, hoes ain't awake at 5 o'clock in the morning, love.
Starbucks isn't even awake.
Starbucks?
Don't
they open at 4?
Do they open at 4? No, not a couple of these ones.
A couple of these, they wake up on Black people time?
I think there was one. I found one that opened.
Could you imagine
when I went to Santa Barbara,
what it's like in Wakanda? Everything is open late. Like, nothing is ever on time. Like, the commencement speech when they get a new king it's about 2 to 3 hours delayed.
The challenge is delayed too. It goes into the second day.
But how's everybody doing today? I wanted to have a conversation. Did you see Black Panther?
I did see Black Panther, and I have to correct myself. Starbucks opens at 4:30. They must have changed their hours and got wise. But I did saw Black Panther yesterday. Such a long movie.
You thought it was long?
Oh, I thought it was long, but
I didn't think it was long enough.
I thought it was good. Well, no, they're gonna make a part 2. I heard It's gonna be a series. So yeah, my initial thoughts, I was like, wow. Well done, well directed, good storyline. You know, a lot of good black actors in there. No Denzel Washington has to make every black movie, or no Will Smith. You know,
there's no Will Smith, no Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
no,
they did have. I wasn't calling him Elvin Forrest. What's his name? Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Lazy Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, one eye man.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a really good movie. I went to go see it at a bad time, you know, after, you know, Valentine's Day and businesses and all that. I was so tired, didn't really get to fully appreciate it. But I mean, just, man, what I really love about this movie is the culture and just how rich it was. And I mean, I follow a lot of Marvel, like, how do I put it? Instagram accounts, and they talk about, the Dora Milaje, which is all the girl fighters. This is actually representing this type of tribe that was all women and and just how culturally rich. If you were to do your homework, I'm not going to do that homework, but just people present it on Instagram. Oh, this represents this and this represents that, and this is like, wow, you don't understand what goes into these movies or the comics. And so, what I hear a lot of or see a lot of online is, wow, way to socially pander to everybody, basically for gender, you know, making women seem a lot stronger than men in the movie, or just making black people seem, you know, heroic, and you have to go, well, if you're a comic book reader, which I'm not, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not, but, you know, I watch YouTube channels that give the history of these comic books, and these are all going off the comic books that were from the 30 years ago. So in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when they're creating this Black Panther character, he's sleeping with white girls and taking white girls from their man. What? The Dora Milaje are what they are today. So it was like a lot of these old notions of, I guess, how we are today were already represented in a lot of the things that creators would make, whether it be comic books, whether it be music. I just feel like we're representing ourselves accurately. And I love black culture. I do. I grew up with it, and it's like I don't. It's not to say, oh, it's just all black people. No, it's a culture. And so I mean, you get different cultures, subcultures when you hit New York, L.A., you hit the South. And I remember growing up with my dad, and you know, he DJ'd, and I'd be listening to Wu-Tang, and I had Wu-Tang you know, T-shirts. And I remember one time, allegedly, you know, my dad tells me this is a funny story. When it was going over for custody for me, you know, my mom brought my lunch pail to school. I mean, that I take to school to the courts, and it had a Wu-Tang sticker on, and Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. As a 9-year-old, that's kind of.
That I felt like a boss. I had a electric union city worker sticker and South Park stickers on my lunch belt. Nobody was messing with me.
That's funny.
But yeah, I think what I really wanted to talk about today, you know, just for a slight moment, is I guess this stark contrast of, you know, black culture and stereotypes and, you know, these racist things that I've really had to battle with in my head to understand, okay, I don't experience some things, but maybe it's not right for me to press my experiences on what someone else is saying. So, example, everybody in America is basically white and racist. And I'm giving extreme versions right here so we can easily understand the example. White people are racist. Black people deserve 40 acres and a mule. Okay, great. That's not what I believe. I don't believe that there's systemic racism. I don't believe that every white person is just racist. Because I go on Instagram and I go on Facebook and I go on Twitter and I see a lot of black people that I do know. And, oh, if this was a black kid that shot up the school, you know, they hold up the colors next to the person. Oh, he's mentally unhealthy. He's not a terrorist. And
I didn't see that. Was that a meme or something?
Yeah. So what they do is, like, if the shooter's white, they hold up like a color chart next to him. And if it's like these shades of white, he's mentally ill. But if he's like, if it gets to like Muslim and black, he's a thug or a terrorist. And it's like, I get what they're trying to do here, but I'm also a person of facts. And when these big occurrences start happening, it's like, okay.
Well, that hasn't come out yet for the Parkland shooting. He was on medication, they say, but none of the actual names of the prescription or his dosages and stuff like that hasn't been released. But usually that comes a few months after this. They'll get more information. It's just brand new breaking news story, and they'll say that he was on a cocktail of medicine that was like antidepressants or something like that. And oh man, I'm hungry. Yeah, sorry, but going back to it, yeah, they'll release it, and then they attach those two, you know, mentally ill, and then this is why he did this. Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's kind of true in that sense. Everybody has that idea of like, yeah, that is noticeable, you know, when it's a white or Caucasian male. Yeah. It's more of, you know.
It's bizarre. It's almost like they're granted instability. They're granted some sort of leniency. And believe me, I do see everything. I grew up with black people. My dad's best friend was black, and his son was born the same time as me. So guess what? I grew up with a black boy. You know what I mean? I was with my black family. I got a black mother. Mrs. Garrett, when I was, getting watched, and I would spend the night, Miss Garrett, the grandma, would always be cooking it up. You know, we never had grits, but I'm just saying, like, good pancakes made with soul and love. And so a lot of people used to tell me, "Oh, you think you're black or whatever?" I don't think I'm a different color.
And who would tell you that?
Just
what type of people would tell you that?
It would be people that didn't understand because, like I said, my dad was a DJ, and I grew up with black people, you know, on top of my family and whatnot. I was very diverse in, you know, my cultural background. I love R&B. I love hip hop. I love rap, you know, Jizza, RZA, Wu-Tang. I used to be like, you can't name all the 9 members. Oh, there's actually more members because there's sub-members. And like, I used to get totally into it. And I'm like, I never felt I was a different color. I just loved a culture. And it's like, America is this place where it's supposed to be called a melting pot. So because I mix my culture, which is like, I guess, just watered down American culture with, you know, hip hop culture, that doesn't make me think I'm black or whatever. And so, you know, I would defend black people and probably more than a lot of other, you know, cultures. And I don't like to say racist because I don't care that you have darker skin than me. I really don't. It's stupid.
I think you're jealous.
You think I'm jealous of black people?
Yeah, I think you're jealous.
I think I do got some rhythm though. I do got some rhythm though.
And so, you got rhythm behind the computer, but definitely not on your feet. No,
but I guess it's just like I grew up with black people, so it's like when I hear all white people are racist, you know, I really go, okay, hold on. Or when I hear some friends talking about this or that, and I go, Okay, let me ask you a question. You're a black male, and so I just want to have an honest conversation. Like, you're a black male. I mean, you're a sizable dude. You work out. You could be intimidating looking or whatever. Do you feel in your career, because this
Thank
podcast,
you, first of all. But do I feel in my career that I've been held back?
that you've been held back, or that you have what I guess the general message is, you know, you're going to be, you got to be very particular with your words. Yeah, just let's just say you've been held back. Have you felt that at all?
If you look at my point right now in life, I don't think I have, but you never know. Some of the no's you got for some career choices or something like, or job applications, you know, would I had a better opportunity if my name was spelled probably properly, American? What, you know what I mean? Would, you know, could those factor in? Yeah, but like I always say before, we can't hold ourselves back. You know what I mean? Because there could be. I always take everything back to dating. There could just be this nice girl, very cute personality, but she's obese, and it's like, well, she'd never have her opportunity with me. But then again, so she's looking at herself like, was it just because I'm fat? You know, is it because I'm overweight?
Yeah.
And it not to be insensitive, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like, wow, I'm just judging her based on this one thing. You know, she could have a world of benefits and opportunities that make my life better. When we match, we marry each other, you know, we pair us together. But, you know, then again, the world is what it is. I think at this one job, my salary could have been higher than it was. And so that's why I left, because I just couldn't figure out why I was getting paid less when I, you know, had, you know, the guy's older than me, but you don't pay on age because that would be ageism. You know, you can't pay somebody on age. You pay somebody on experience, and the level of work you're doing. And I felt that at the time I had probably a little bit over a year more experience, and I had I had a harder job. I had more things I was doing, so I thought I should get paid more. And so when I found out that, then I was like, I got to move on.
But did you feel?
I can't do this.
Did you feel? Was your first thought, I'm black, he's white, or he's a gender that's a lot more close? Or a gender,
that is factual. What you said, that is true. But you know, I don't know. He had a better relationship with his boss than I did.
Yeah.
But everything filters through the top. So I mean, I kind of beat him at the top with all my relationships. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, because people kind of look at you like, I had a conversation with an old boss, and he was like, when he was hiring me or giving me a promotion, rather, he was like, "This will be good for you." Reading my like salary statement and everything that came with that, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, I think he mentioned something about not having kids and being single and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if I had 15 kids. You know, you pay me within, you know, my bracket, whatever my requirements. It doesn't matter if I have 2 kids, 15 kids. You don't say how much money I need at 23 or 22. Yeah. You know, so I didn't like that. But you never know. And I think I don't know, is it bad to react? Because that's what they probably want you to do, right? Not in my situation, but in any situation. When someone's like, you know, like angry black guy, you know, he's gonna freak out. That's why I kind of caution my mom all the time, because something will happen and she wants to make like a scene, not like a scene, like a movie scene, but more of like, I'm gonna let my voice be heard, and it's like, you know, Mom, you're black. Let's not, you know, make it worse than it is, because people blow it out of proportion. And are you all right, ma'am? Are you all right? You know, and then, you know, you don't want any of that stuff happening. You don't want, you know, you just don't want to cause a scene. It just looks bad, and I think it sets us back. That's my opinion. What about you? Because the Mexicans aren't that, you know, free either.
Well, see, it gets into, you know, someone was telling me, okay, there's a lot of black representation, lesbian, gay, trans, and it's not combining any of those together. It's just saying, you know, now these minority populations have a lot of representation, right?
Like politically?
Politically, and just, you know, the facts remain. White cops, and it's a proven fact in the past 2 years, are less likely to shoot a black male than a white male because of the backlash that now comes with it. They'll take 5,000 second guesses before they. Oh shit, man!
I saw that World Star video. So everything in life ends up on World Star. That's relevant, right?
God.
But anyway, so the black guy, I don't know if he's a suspect. I don't want to call him that, but he was being like questioned by police, and then he starts punching the cop.
Oh god!
He starts punching the cop, and I'm like, dude, he could have literally died, and the cop didn't shoot him, and I think he let him go too. But he assaulted the police officer.
What?
I think he was questioned over something.
Ass fair and square, man.
Yeah. He basically it was a one-on-one fight without any tasers, any guns, and I'm like, that's pretty crazy. It didn't look fake to me.
No, but what I guess I'm trying to say is, and like the Mexican community, and to be honest, I'm not all Vive la Mexico, and I'm not really Mexican. I'm just being honest. Everybody thinks I'm Armenian. I tell everybody I'm Dominican and Lebanese just because it sounds a little bit more exotic. You know, they go, "Oh, I knew that." But anyway, when it comes to Mexican culture, you don't see anybody fighting for, you know, Mexican rights. You know,
yeah, they do all the time.
Okay, for immigration,
yeah,
but
that's Mexican rights.
But for Mexican culture, I mean. We got Coco. You guys got Black Panther. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah, I mean, we have banda. You have hip hop. You have the top 40 singles.
You guys have Suavemente.
And we have Pitbull. Come on now.
Yeah. But Pitbull loves that Miami-Dade. Mm-hmm. He's repping you guys. But I don't know. I don't ever see any messaging towards like the injustices.
The Asian groups, you know, they were in internment camps, and I'm not trying to bring the black culture down right now. What I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to put it into a perspective where people understand what I'm talking about, and what, you know, even black people that are listening to this. I'm not trying to bash you or say what happens in your life does not happen, because everybody leads an individual life. I go through some shit that no one else sees, but I don't post it on any social media, and I don't act like the world is out against me. Yeah. But it's just, I see so much black representation now, and I think that that's beautiful. I think that is, it's just historically, you know, it's probably a remedy for, you know, the thoughts that a lot of black people have. Like to see, like when I went to see Black Panther, there was black people in dashikis that they don't even know what Wakanda's dress code is. They just wearing African garments now. I even saw a white guy.
Wore what do you call it? What's those Mexican kind of blankets?
A poncho?
She wore like a poncho or something like that. And I was like, why are you wearing that? She was like, I'm cold. But maybe there was some other subliminal thoughts or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, I have to say this, but the animation in that movie was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was incredible what the studios did to make that come to life. Because it's like movies like that, you got to go actually spend the money and go to the theater so you can see everything, the quality of work they put in. Because, you know, watching it HD at home is not the same as watching it in the theater. But, you know, overall, I'm glad they did that movie. Yeah, because I kind of get all like on soft feet when it's like a black movie coming out. Ah, man, it's gonna be something about like someone trying to make it in the rap industry or basketball, or someone's getting, or it has a negative storyline to it. Yeah, you know, they're fighting inner fighting, which did happen. That's the part
more
where
black
you kind
on
of
black
like
crime in that movie. Look at that.
Look at that. Michael B. Jordan. You know, messing things up.
He's bad. He's a bad dude. I mean, like in terms of fighting, not like he's sexy, but
I know what you meant.
He is a good looking dude. Though.
I know what you meant. But I mean, he put. You know how he got to that size? It said he was. It was from the Rocky movie. Mm-hmm. It was what's that? What was it called?
Creed.
Apollo Creed. Yeah, he was sleeping, waking up every 4 hours, eating two chicken breasts, going back to sleep. I was like, man, I gotta try that.
Well, that's what they tell you to do, like in college, or from what I remember, I had a friend that, you know, played college ball, and he would just work out and sleep, and then wake up and go back to.
Oh, you eat. And then go back
sleep,
to sleep.
Eat and sleep, because when your body's asleep, your body's repairing itself. Yeah. And then when you're eating, you're feeling it, so it's just like you're getting bigger and stronger. But you know, just going back to what I'm saying, there's not a lot of representation for the other races, you know, and. Every race that's been in this country since the white people, but see, I'm gonna go into that right now. They've been racist against Mexicans, blacks, almost all Asians have been racist against, and even the so-called, you know, unconsequenced, unpunished white people. And think about it. Italians that first came to this country, people hated them. When Irish first came to this country, people hated them. What is white? When people say white people, it bothers me because I go, okay, what is... My girl is Sicilian. She doesn't look white. She looks like me, like Armenian or something. But, if she had come here at a different time, people would hate her. Just like blacks, just like Mexicans, just like Asians. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, what's your definition of white? You really got to analyze that, because we don't look at Germans and call them white people. We call them Germans. We don't look at, any European or Australian and call them white. We call them what their nationality is.
I think white goes with the word Caucasian, and Caucasian goes to the word, that kind of pinkish skin, white skin.
And I get that, but everybody here is
flavored.
Everybody here is some form of European or African, or if you really want to get into the long sense of things, we're all technically African.
But let's look at, you mentioned those different groups, the Italians, Arabs, blacks, Mexicans. We all fight too against one another. Mm-hmm. The Italians didn't get along with the black people. And so there's a lot of the blacks versus Mexicans. Remember that?
Oh, gosh, in high school, blacks versus Mexicans, and there's only 10 black people at the school, but they're all on the football team.
But that's kind of it's like, why are we doing that?
Yeah, and I guess I'm not trying to downgrade what black people have gone through, because you guys went through, not you guys. Who am I saying you guys to? Who is you guys?
Everybody
didn't go through
goes through
slavery.
Everybody goes through something.
You didn't,
I was actually thinking this the other day. I was like, just say you have a child, right? You have a child.
Yeah.
They don't know anything, but now we're conditioning them. White people are bad. Slavery. This is slavery 400 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is what they made black people do. This is how they got black people to America.
I have a question. How long did slavery happen for in America? Where they were brought in, how many years? Was it 1600s to the 1800s? How long did it last?
No, it would be like 1700s.
1700s?
Something like that. So maybe about a couple hundred years.
Let's look that up. How long did slavery...
But my thing is, my point is, you're conditioning the child to think that this world is really bad, right? Mm-hmm. So it was showing that history. History is important, but it's like, how do you actually do an effective job where it's like, I can't turn or sway his thinking to think that, white people are bad just for this instance. This is, because you're thinking, oh man, well, this is what they did. Maybe they're going to do this again, kind of like that. And that was that point, kind of like in the movie of Black Panther, when that little kid was like hearing about it's a different spin on things, but he was like, well, maybe this world is lost, and maybe we need to help him and find him, and we're not the ones that are lost or hiding. So I think there's a point there. It's like when you have a child, that your question is like, how do I raise this child just to be a free thinker, but have him get all the history so he's knowledgeable?
Yeah, so he's not caught off guard by...
But he's not pushed into the light like, oh man, I can't have any white friends, or these are just bad negative influences.
Because think about the kids that actually grew up in those poor neighborhoods. If you're white, you were just a part of the family, because you all had a common structure. You all had commonalities in what you're probably going to eat that day. Nothing, rich in nutrients, or you're probably, there's just one basketball court. Go play outside with the kids. And people weren't really racist in that regard. And slavery happened for a little over 100 years from what I'm seeing on here on the phone real quick. I don't know how accurate that is. That's 2 generations. And I get it. I get that could trickle down, and I get that might still put people, from 4 generations, even more, in a bad spot. But I get into this mood where it gets me, okay, you have to stop blaming other people for what's going on. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't happen. I'm not saying that people aren't rude or dicks or say these racist things, because they do. They do, and it's not just the black people. If it's a old racist white guy, guess what? He's just old and racist against everybody. He doesn't like Filipinos. You think he's going, fuck black people? Oh, Filipino nurse. Well, white people kind of like Filipinos. They like to marry them. Bad example.
I think the Filipinos like the white males because they go over there and they're like candy. They see the power and the money, and they don't even have to be like anybody. They could just be a regular person in America, but they go over there and they have good adventures. I'd say.
I think it's because of this. Because of the when you start looking at racism, you have to look at what people experience. So this is my experience. I grew up with black people. I love them to death. You know, I love the black people I know. I mean, I'm not going to say for all black people because what if I don't get along with certain people? It's not a black thing. It's I don't have to get along with everybody else. I don't get along with every Mexican. I hate banda. You know what I mean? But, I love Mexican food. So it's
you
like,
missed it out.
You know, and so I look at the black people that are like my family and I go, they're doing great. One's a sheriff, our deputy, you're doing great. I look at another one of my friends. I just helped him I'm helping him put out a book right now. He played college ball for Oregon. He gets along with white people. A couple other of my high school friends, they live in Oregon now. All their friends are white people. And I go, well, how come they're doing so good? What's happening for them? Now, granted, they live in a totally different part of the country, and that's not called the South. That's not these areas. And so different black people have different experiences. One black person might be America is racist because that's what they endure, and the other's like, shit, white people are dope. Mexicans are dope, Arabs are dope, and I know them all. I know all the spectrums of races, and so it gets into you can't be mad at someone's experiences, and so that's been one thing that's been really hard for me because I see an old friend from high school always posting on Colin Kaepernick, always posting on if it was black person, he would have been shot. And I'm like, you're victimizing your own self when there's not even a conversation.
What was the point if Colin was actual full black?
No, his point is Colin Kaepernick got X'd out from the NFL because he's black or because he spoke out. He took a knee for the black people. And
one, I don't think he's that good anymore. I mean, he doesn't have, they're not using that run spread offense. And
because everybody's fast in the NFL.
And I don't think he's that good anymore. I mean, certainly, you think he's going to come back? He hasn't touched the ball in years. He hasn't had a snap in what is it, 2-3 years now?
I don't know.
And I think it was more of like a distraction, kind of. You know what I mean? It's kind of a distraction. It's like when you're playing these organized sports, I mean, you got to be focused, You can't be doing anything else. It's just all football. Or your mind's not there, and they're paying you millions of dollars. So I mean, I don't know. I think, he can use his platform, but you got to take it out of the game, though. You know what I mean? You got to really take it out of the game.
But that's one of the big things is, the argument where, and I don't really have a stance on it. Yeah. I think I do see the positives where if you have, because I want to change the world for a positive place. Whether you be black, Mexican, Arab, white, Irish, whatever race I want to make the world a better place. I'm a Christian. So my job is to live a godly life that helps others grow towards Christ. Now, when I see football players, taking a knee and, having their thoughts after the game instead of talking about the game or whatever it is, sometimes I go, come on, I already go through enough in my life. Now I'm having to care about a number of other things that I just want to watch football.
That's why there was so much backlash because people spend lots of money on going to the games, watching the games, however they may do it, and it's escape. It's almost like Disneyland. They go into this utopia of like, man, I want to see something. I want some talent. I want to see some action. I also personally kind of want to imagine myself on this level. I didn't get the opportunity to play football or go to take it to the streams to the NFL. So it's like, man, I just want to appreciate the game, and all this other stuff is a distraction. That's why people are like, man, I'm not going to watch this anymore because it's all about politics now. Same thing with ESPN. That's why no one wants to watch ESPN, and FS1's on the same. I think they're owned by the same company now. I think they bought each other. Or FS1 was bought, but they're all about politics now instead of talking about the actual keys of the game.
Yeah, it's what Trump said, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna say shit. That's what he does. Are we still shocked that he says alarming, just nonsensical bullshit? Are we shocked by that, or can I see the stats of Steph Curry making threes and what the significance and I get both sides. I'm not siding with one or the other, and I read a book, and I've talked about this book before on the podcast. It's called Tribal by Sebastian Junger. And so basically in this book, he goes into a number of different chapters on why people do the things they do, or why, this or this leads to, correlates to this. Something struck me, and it's a thought that I had on my own. In the book, he would always say, we lived in tribes. We lived in tribes. The advancement of how we are today is exponentially, radical. Technology within the past couple hundred years versus the tens and tens of thousands of years that human history has had spears, sticks, and barely knew how to make fire. All of a sudden, we have laptops, cell phones. We have all these things that would seem alien-like to the caveman. If they were, what the fuck is this? You bring them to this place that we're in right now. What's a wall? What's a wall? What is concrete?
What's running water?
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, water magically comes from the spout, a faucet. If you were to take your phone to the medieval times, they would consider you a witch, pulling FaceTiming someone from the other side of the earth. You're a magician. And so things have just. Technology has evolved faster than our evolution, than our evolutionary biology. And so in this book, he always talks about tribes and communities and 60 to 100 people. Tribes only existed 60 to 100 people. And that was it. That was all the 100 people at max that you're ever going to know and communicate with and live with and die and survive with. Now, our bodies are still designed to feel only for 60 to 100 people, because technology and interconnectedness has evolved way too fast for our bodies to even understand what the hell is going on. Now, with that being said, I think what I was trying to do this whole time, and not try to have an opinion on, these Black Lives Matter movements, or, my own experiences, and tie it all together and be rude, or I was trying to understand, why do I feel this way? I love black culture, but sometimes I just don't agree with the Black Lives Matter. Sometimes I don't agree with, there's a new president in South Africa, I guess, getting elected. And the first thing he wants to do is take all the lands, the farming lands, away from white owners and give them to black people because of the slavery. And I'm like, you can't just do things like that. We don't live in that time anymore. Mm-hmm. That's not morally right. Even if it was, because black tribes used to conquer other black tribes. Are there what is it? Reprimandation, or what is it? Reparations for those tribes that got beat out by other black tribes, or what's going on here? So we live in tribes of 100 people, and that's what we're so used to and designed for. That's why social media is bad for us, because we have to start to care about other tribes, individuals that we would have never even known.
That's why I don't have Facebook anymore, because I have over 1,000 friends, and I don't talk to any of these people.
Exactly. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, I'm so used to 60 to 100 people. Mm-hmm. We're all designed for that. Now, when I go on TV, I'm being asked to care about millions and thousands more people that I'm able to handle.
But didn't they have tribe leaders?
They did have tribe leaders. So basically everybody in the tribe kind of agreed on what it was, and then the other tribe is either going to try to kill you, steal your stuff, or your resources. It was very primitive. So that's what our bodies understand. So now when you get on these platforms and you start saying, oh, Black Lives Matter and da-da-da-da, whatever it may be, I agree with, a lot of stuff. I don't agree with some stuff. I'm not going to agree with everything someone says or a movement says, but I'm being asked to care about something that I don't have the capacity to do. And that sounds so wrong, but hear me out. I can't care about, 1 million more people. I can't. I'm just trying to learn how to balance my work life. I'm trying to learn how to balance my family life with my own personal issues and my lady. And where are we going? Where are me and my lady going one day? Are we going to get married? Are we going to have a family? If I have a family, guess what? My attention is diverted even more. I'm not concerned about this or that. And it sounds so evil. It sounds so wrong.
So what do you say to people who are going to criticize you for not being more altruistic?
Well, see, that's what I'm trying to say is, you have to be able to have these conversations. And I say that just like that all the time, because, hey, I'm someone that loves to have conversations, that loves to understand people. I'm trying, But it's so hard, you know, whether you're Mexican and you feel like people are being racist against you, or white and feel like everybody's ostracizing you for your skin color because you have it good. And I'm using quotations, you have it good, or black people and whatnot. Like, I can't tell you what your experience is, and I can't tell you how to just feel for everybody, because you at the end of the day, all you want to do is go to bed and be left alone. And all you want to do is wake up to a good morning text from that person that you love. I mean, seriously, that's what the majority of people want. But then we're called out, you know, whether it be through, you know, just social pressure or wanting to be a godlike person, to care about so many other people. And it's hard. It's hard when you're failing at your own struggles. You're having your own battles in your life, and you get on TV and you should care about, you know, this black person getting shot, and it hurts you. It does. I watched a lot of these videos and I tear up and I go, wow, like I'm getting a little emotional right now. Like, what if I got shot like that and my mom had to get a phone call that her son is dead? You know, I put myself in those shoes and I feel, but I'm getting to this point where it's so hard for me to feel for so many other people. And you need to care. You need to care about the lesbians and the transgenders, and you need to care about their feelings. And I'm like, what about my fucking feelings of just myself? I'm getting stretched thin with being told I have to care and I have to give my attention and I have to go march for this. I have to go stand for that. Because it's hard for me to just stand on my own 2 feet for my family and anchor myself to with my financial stability and my emotional stability.
But I think someone who, you know, is on the premise of having an idea of helping people would say, hey, Darik, let's use your platform. If it is 50 people, if it is, you know, a business or some, whatever you have, maybe start shedding some light on some of these issues. Like, you know, if it is social media, post the equal sign. It means that we're all equal. You know, they'll say stuff like that. And I think that is pretty good. I think it's good because people see a common message. People want to join things. People want to hop on the bandwagon of anything. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
You know, so they want to join the movement, but understanding why, understanding Black Lives Matter like that, it just gets skewed. Because at first it'll be talking about, you know, the innocent kids that died from police bullets, and then it'll be on some other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
because at first you hear like the innocent people dying, then you hear Monique jumping on the Breakfast Club and yelling at Charlemagne because she didn't get a $16 million deal for Netflix for her comedy special. And we're like, Monique, ain't nobody want to hear your comedy special. You're a legend. Congratulations. You're the Michael Jordan player for the Wizards now.
I think, but in all truth, though, Monique is better than Amy Schumer.
Oh, I 100% agree. I would watch a Monique special every day of the week. I mean, you know, if Amy Schumer was eradicated from history. I can't stand Amy Schumer. I don't know how
she steals a lot of jokes.
I don't care if she steals. She's just not funny. And her face, you know those people where you don't know why you don't like them? You just look at their face and you go, I just want to punch you. Okay, now, You said, a man said he's going to assault a woman. I didn't say I was. I'm just saying, she got an attitude with my girl.
She's got a new movie. Did you see it, the new trailer?
What is it?
I don't know. I forgot the title, but it's I'll look it up real quick. But I'll tell you about it.
I am not a fan of Amy Schumer.
She's kind of plump, and she's working out, and she falls off this bike and hits her head, and then now she thinks she's beautiful. Before she thinks she didn't look good, average maybe, and she falls off a bike, hits her head, and now everything she thinks she's a model now. Like she thinks she's like the hottest girl in the world, and she has all this confidence. That's the main thing.
And that's a good message. That is a good message. I don't want to just be a hater. I think it's just the way she portrays or the jokes. She tries to use a lot of sexual jokes, and it's just not working. It's just, I tried watching one of her specials and I was like, this is funny. And I was trying to be as unbiased as I could be. And did you hear about her wanting the same pay as Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock? And
that was funny.
She said the only reason they get paid that much is because they're males.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is another part of that.
Sarah Silverstone is pretty good.
Silverman, yeah. But it gets into that. It gets into this. Everybody's fighting for so much equality. At what point are we separating ourselves? Like, with the men and women issue in the workforce and just a number of places, men and women are equal. Yes, we are equal. And our sexual body parts, that doesn't go into the mix of what makes us equal. Stop making our penis and vagina have to be eradicated in order for us to be equal. Stop making our differences, a problem to where we can't have equality. Yes, women, I am stronger than 99% of women on, in my neighborhood, in my family, in my life. Now, yeah, I have a debilitating muscle condition. Now, I'm still stronger than a lot of these girls that walk the average daily life. There's those girls that just work out, and oh my gosh, they're just monstrous. I'm terrified of some of them.
Well, they take estrogen too, so.
But you got
those nice,
to accept
rocky shoulders.
You're just like, don't shoulder check me, and the line at the movie theater. But men and women are different. Guess what? That's what makes it beautiful.
Well, no, don't stop there. People are different. Men, women,
people,
colors are different, sizes are different. And someone told me this. It was a teacher, probably in like third grade. She was like, "This is what makes people beautiful because everybody's different. Everybody's not the same. If we all look the same, it wouldn't be good. It'd just be boring or not like."
Like, I'm glad a lot of the black culture that I love is not the same as the culture that I grew up, with my family in. Well, that's a bad saying because I grew up with black culture too. But, I'm glad there's sub-black cultures that some I do like, some I don't like. There's some parts of Mexican culture I'm like, yo, this is where the bomb food's at, And then there's some parts of white culture where, I can't tell you what exactly white culture is, but, you have those instances in everything that you like. And it's getting to that point where we just want to generalize what one black group is, all black people are, so we could say it's beautiful. And it's like, well, not every part is beautiful. And it depends. It's subjective too on who. Not every part of Mexican culture to me is beautiful. Sometimes I look and I go, what the fuck is they
Why
doing?
is there tattoos on your head?
Yeah. and it just frustrates me that I'm being told constantly I have to feel this way. I have to, and it's getting to the point where I'm like, what about what I feel? I'm not trying to take away what black people go through. I know too many black people to ever be that, you're not going through racism. No, because a lot do. And we should do something. So when I hear, oh, white people are racist and there's systemic racism, I go, okay, where is it at? Show me so we can stop this. But I'm tired of a lot of black people and a lot of people that say people are racist going, there's this racism here and there. Where? Show me exactly where. Point it with your finger.
But just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Exactly. But
so I think, like, going back to that Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me, a lot of it was that fighting the system. And I mean, there's
very much those
broken ideas in the system, in terms of like incarceration, how we spend money on different programs other than, the youth and the science and technology and these type of areas and the school system and stuff like that. There's big issues in the school system.
Absolutely. And that's what I just wanted to have an honest conversation about. A lot of people actually feel the way I do. They don't know how to feel. They have a lot of black friends. They have a lot of, friends of other different cultures. And it's like, I don't look at the world through that lens because, one, I don't go through it. And that's just being honest. You as a black man or other people that are black listening to this, you can't be mad at me. You can't be mad at me for experiencing this least amount of racism. You can't be mad at me for that. Just like I can't be mad that you actually go through things and I just don't understand it. It's if let's say an old lady, she's never really had interactions with black people, and one day she gets robbed by a black man, and now she's terrified. Can you be mad at her? Can you? No, her experience with a certain race.
I know, but flip it. If she got robbed by a white guy and she's white, then it's going to be
no, I get that too. And it gets so hard because you can't tell people how to feel for something happening. Not all black people are the same, as well as white, Mexican, whatever. And I just think that I needed to get it off my chest. Like when the Black Panther movie came out, I was so happy. Oh, my girl could tell you how annoying I was watching trailer breakdowns and, character breakdowns. M'Baku, I'm going to have I'm T'Chaka. There's T'Challa, I'm T'Chaka. That's my Black Panther name. And I'm serious. Like, I love just being a part of rich cultures. It's so fun. But at the same time, you know, when I hear a new South African president saying we're going to take all the white land back and give it back to the people, what does that mean? We're in 2018.
Yeah.
We're in 2018.
I didn't hear about that, but that's not good.
It's
It doesn't help.
We should or
the
hearing
young
black people
population
say,
either.
you know, white people. When white people were saying a lot, like on Twitter, I don't get why all these black people are on a rise for. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No, black people haven't had it the best in America compared to all the other. You just let them have their fucking moment. You know, shut the fuck up. Don't take anything away from somebody who's proud of something. If you got honors roll and someone was like, well, we always get honors. Shut the fuck up. This is a big moment for them. Shut the fuck up. Let black people have this moment. That's beautiful to hear, you know, someone like, see little black boys and little black girls and even little, you know, my little sister, I think she's in love with a little black boy. And I'm like, oh man, this is what it feels like.
Madre.
Oh damn, like this is what it feels like to have the black, and it's like a weird thing, you know. Like we have black family members, like what I like to say, but like, oh man, you're dating a black guy. I'm like, oh shit, this is what it feels like. But it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong or bad with it. I think they look little cute couple. You know, they're 8 years old. You know, they're sharing sodas or whatever.
Watch out.
But I'm just like, you know what? That's cool. Whatever.
So there's a couple things there. One, I thought the movie was great for black culture. I thought it was a win.
Yes.
I thought it was like, now let's keep doing this. Let's keep making good black movies. Movies that are like, everybody was talking about this. It was crazy.
It's
everybody was talking about this movie.
Gross $1 billion easy.
I don't know. My dad saw it twice. It's funny. I was like, I didn't know.
He's mowing the lawn with a dashiki on.
But and the other thing too, I think there's a few things I want to mention. Social media, okay. A lot of like people behind a veil making all these racial claims, like they want to spike, they want to stir the pot of evil, and so you'll see that on a lot of videos. Or so girls will make Snapchat and be like, I hate black people or something.
What?
You know, that happens a lot. You'll see that a lot of like World Star. That's why people should get off of World Star.
Like a white girl, and she was going.
There's a few
I'll
things.
say the N word, and then she got kicked out of school.
Well, that too, and then even in here, Cal Baptist University, there was 2 white girls that were at a game, a basketball game. It might have been a Laker game too. I don't really remember, but it was a basketball game, and the 2 black people didn't stand for the national anthem, and they started hurling racial insults at them.
I remember
and then she
that.
threw a soda at them, which is assault, and so they ended up. I don't know if they got charged or anything, but ending up getting kicked out.
Yeah.
But those girls were harassed. Like, they found out where she worked. One of them worked at Jamba Juice. I think she quit, though, before this happened.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the world kind of takes care of these people.
And that's what I love. That's what I love so much. So it's so hard. That's why
they're not even black people that take care of them. It's like, you guys go get this one. We good. We'll sit back.
And that's what's beautiful. I feel like everybody started to unify and like, I just had this long rant about how I don't feel a lot of people are victimized. I don't feel, you go through so much in a day where you actually have to stop. We're all going to go through shit. And that's what I meant to say. My body was handicapped at a point. I was 100 pounds. 100 pounds. I went from 155 to 100 pounds. I was sick. And guess who helped me? Yeah, I had supporting cast members in my family and friends that, but then no one can help you. At a certain point, I had to go, okay, I'm either going to be handicapped and never find love, never, make love to someone that I love, or never have a job that I want, or give up on my dreams, or I'm just going to commit suicide. That's where I was at. And I had to go, okay, I have to fight through my own mind right now. Yeah. My own mind telling me I don't deserve to live anymore. That maybe I had a past life. Maybe I don't believe in Christianity. I'm a Buddhist who's reincarnated from a life where I did wrong. And it's the ramifications, the karma is still affecting me. That's it. I had a choice to make, Darik. Yeah. I did. And that choice was to fight and to figure this shit out and to not let, what someone else said, oh, you're skinny. I remember girls would look at me in class and they'd go, why is he so skinny? Like, what's wrong with him? And I'd be like, it was heartbreaking. It really would destroy me.
But that's the level of comedy where you need to flip it and be like, I mean, there's two ways to do it. You can hurl insults back at them, which I always do. I always find that better because it makes me feel better. Or you could just make a joke and, somebody would be like, yeah, I'm skinny. But it's like, well, I'm saving a lot on my food bill or something like that. It's retarded, but it's just,
you're trying to make light out of a funny situation.
You got to make it out.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Did you say anything to those girls?
No, I was severely depressed and suicidal. I mean, I felt like any next word from someone else would push me to turn the wheel in my car and go off the freeway or go off a cliff. I knew where a bunch of cliffs were. Go do all these horrible things to myself, which would result in bodily harm even more or death. And that's why I say what I'm saying right now. No one knew what I was going through. Just like I'm sure I don't know what a lot of black people or a lot of other, cultures or races are going through. But I was at a point where it only mattered on what I did at that point. I had to fight through it. No one really helped me. Yeah, they're going to support, but it's not their job to do. And so I did it. I figured out how to get healthier. And then I found a nutritionist. And then I took the steps. And, I felt like God was holding me back. Fuck people. Fuck a white person. Fuck this person. I felt like my own creator was punishing me or was stopping me. And how do you get past that? How do you?
Did you ever call like a suicide help prevention line?
I had thought about it. I just think it was awkward to like talk to someone, but that's how I did it. And I think if you're going through that, you need to speak with somebody. One of the first things you need to do when you're suicidal, when you're depressed, is build community, even with just one person. Yeah. And you need to make extremely small goals that in the long run are going to add to a sizable thing, not a big thing, not like you're going for your goals, your dreams. No, you just need to do something small. But, so when I hear, certain black people, and I know I'm from the same damn neighborhood and town as them, there's no racism. Or if there is, it's very small. And I'm not trying to tell other people
individualized. I don't think it's institutionalized.
Yeah, it's very individualized. And it might be one I know these people. I know them. I know who their friends are. I know a lot about their lives. And I don't. Then again, I don't. But it's like when I hear white people are this and that, white people, I'm like, you live in the same city as me. There's hardly any white people. What are you talking about?
Well, those ideas are coming from, I think, internal, from our side. Just like the South African leader that said that. Those ideas are coming from internal. And it also kind of sways your thinking. Because so when I was little, I was like, oh man, I wish I was white. I wish I had white skin. And then I started doing all these things where I thought I was white, or I was hanging out with white people, so I wanted to look like them, bleaching the skin, wearing all the like white brands like Billabong and stuff like that. White so-called brands. It's just beach brand. But you know what I'm saying? You would do those things, and then I, actually got smarter, found my mind, and I was like, because I was at adolescent at the time, but I was like, why am I doing these things? Why am I trying to change? And black people called me out on it too, but I didn't really think of anything. I just thought they were like hating or something like that. But then I found it, and I'm just like, all right, I came to a point where I got to stop doing this. I got to be me. I got to stop trying to be somebody else. And so, but I think a lot of people struggle like that.
Yeah, I think it's an epidemic, and it's hard to find that divide where my mind goes, okay, are you victimizing your own self, or are you really going through something where we should all be helping? And I think that's where the frustration lies, is right now everybody's pushing their agenda. Oh, we need to care about lesbian and transgender issues. And it's like, I don't even know what transgender. Like,
I'm making a goal this year. I'm actually going to go to a parade or a rally. I want to see what it's about,
and how the feels are, rather than hearing it from the news. And
so in San Diego, it's a big community of that down there, and I think they have this parade yearly in Hillcrest. I missed it last year because I was moving down there, but I'll be at Hillcrest this year. And I want to see, it's pretty big parade. So I want to see how it is. So
it's just like I'm saying, what point do you feel like I'm supposed to care for everybody? Okay, that's what the world's telling me. I need to care about millions of more people than I can emotionally and mentally and thoughtfully handle. I'm being honest, because I know we all feel this way. I've had hundreds of conversations with so many different people that they don't want to see anybody hurt. No one wants to see a fellow human in a shitty spot or getting judged off of something they don't deserve. They want to be judged by character and what their accolades are, not what what their skin color or the culture is.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes culture does, take away from, a job, and I don't know, like, oh, this culture does this, like, which is going to stop their job from this. And there's very small instances, but those types of things can happen. It rarely does happen, but for the most part, I'm being told to care so much, and then I start looking at the people, like some people, and I go, you're doing this to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you're much more powerful than you think. If I was about to commit suicide and I had nobody to live in, I had nobody. All I had was a spirit left. That's all I felt. How did I do it? I'm not better than thou. I'm not this esoteric human being that's like Will Smith, only one in the few.
Yeah. But I think you weren't also on a bunch of medication either, right? You weren't on.
They tried to get me on a bunch of antidepressants, which would help with nerve damage and all this other stuff. But I stopped taking it all, and I just cold turkey, and I won't ever take medication again unless it's absolutely necessary.
I think that swayed me because I was on something for another issue. I forgot what it was, but they said these are antidepressants, but these will help. I think it was for headaches. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Antidepressants help almost everything because
I started going crazy. I had crazy thoughts, Mm-hmm. When I was with you, all I get is crazy thoughts. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it was. So I stopped taking it, but I just remember I did not feel right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I still don't, but yeah. I don't know. I don't like taking anything. I was like just vitamins, but I think the key takeaway for people who are listening to this is kind of like, stop being in your way of your future. Stop holding yourself back on these problems and listening to everybody else and going with, we always say that, stop going with the masses. But I really think in this aspect, in terms of like racism and stuff, I mean, do what you can and show people that you're not, the negatives of your culture. Mm-hmm. I think that's the main point, because it's like, I know if I'm out, I think we did talk about this. If I'm out in a car, I'm not going to be blasting my music loud just because of the connotations that come with that, because that invites other type of racism towards me, and I just, I think if we just do things a little differently, you are going to live different than how you normally would, but turn your music down in this aspect, in that point, turn the music down.
Well, this is what I think. Okay. So if we're still very tribalistic, we still have that in our DNA. And I've spoken many times about how things get carried down in our DNA. And a prime example, me and my lady, we went to go hang out with my dad and my stepmom. And my dad, he's like a raver still. The garage is all black lights and DJ equipment and lights, and it's like a club. It's like a mini club. So every so often they'll just kick it in the garage, and it's like all nice now. Big screen TV, drinking beers, listening to music, and just chilling in the garage, all black light. So we go, and we just having a couple drinks with them, and at the end when we leave, my girl goes, "I'm going to marry your dad." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You are your dad. You talk shit like your dad. You're annoying like your dad. You're an asshole to me, just like your dad is to your mom. You are your dad." And she's like, "It's in your DNA. You cannot control how you talk and how you like to shoot insults and say jokes at people's expense." And I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, you're actually right. I am my dad." And so with this tribalistic behavior, 60 to 100 people. Now, find those 60 to 100 people in your life and apply those positive aspects.
Let's move it down to 6 people.
But you're going to interact, whether it be coworkers, whether it be in your neighborhood, that your neighbor, the people you go see at Stater Brothers or Vaughn's or Ralph's or whatever local grocery store,
Kroger, Publix.
But you narrow it down to those 60 to 100 people, and I think that will really help you feel the grasp. Make sure your culture is a little bit diversified. Hey, I have a couple Asian friends, I have a couple, Arab friends or Middle Eastern friends, German, European friends, and I have black friends. And within those within that segment, I talk to them about these issues, and I ask them, like, what do you go through? Like, what's happening in your daily life? And then, just do things to make your community better. You can't, I'm learning, Darik, honestly, you can't care about the 5 million people on TV. What are you going to do? Are you going to send them money? What are you gonna tweet a good thought? That shit ain't gonna work. But fucking be honest. Seriously, I'm tired of everybody acting like fucking posting a Facebook post is gonna fucking work. Like I'm getting this amped up because this shit doesn't fucking work. What works is I have a couple black friends and I'm asking them what they're going through, and then I'm trying to make a change. Whether when I meet a black person, to not pass my judgment or to not pass my prejudice on them, because you know what, there's not just one type of black person, there's many type of black people. There's not just me type of Mexican, there's the Banda type Mexicans, there's the Mexican type Mexicans, that are actually from the Mexico.
There's the barrio type of Mexicans that'll pull up on you.
There's so many. So it's like, find your 60 to 100 people and actually talk to them, have conversations, ask them what you can do better. There's going to be some national things that you can do, but for the most part, guess what? No one wants to hear you. When people hear these grand marches, what does it do? It creates resistance from the other side because we're tribal. That's another tribe trying to change your beliefs, your views. That's why it's so hard for big change in America sometimes, because it's tribes against another tribe. If someone comes up to you and go, hey, you need to change the way you think. What the fuck you? Fuck you. Yeah. I don't care fuck how reasonable you are. You're going to be like, you're trying to change me. You don't agree with me. Automatic resistance. So.
But you're talking about college here, and that the whole idea of college, spend your 4 years of life on campus at university, generating ideas from multiculturals. Did I say that wrong? Multicultures?
Multicultural ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah.
And, I guess let's just start wrapping this up. Look, I love black culture. I grew up on it. You go on I'm a DJ too. I write books and I love poetry just like black people do. And I'm not saying it's a black thing. I'm saying that's what black people predominantly do, because there's white people, there's Arabs, there's all other races that are a part of it as well. It's a culture. It's not cultures aren't specifically designed for one skin color. It's for whatever color decides to be in that culture. And yes, certain cultures predominantly have or were invented by certain skin colors, but we're a melting pot. We are. And my recommendation for this all is, because I really had to have an honest conversation, because sometimes when I see Black Lives Matter, I roll my eyes. But sometimes when I see it, I go, you know what? I hope that this benefits, you, my co-host, one of my best friends, someone that I hold as a mentor to me. And, I have other black friends and I go sometimes, they're not going through that shit. Me? Oh. Yeah. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, I had to think real quick.
Oh,
I was
God. Or sometimes I see my other black friends. I really do
appreciate that.
I see my other black friends and I go, they're not going through this shit. Like, why are they bitching? And be honest. If you're a listener, I know you go through the same thoughts. Some days you hear Black Lives Matter and you go,
because some of the stereotypes that comes with that is that, how do I say this? We just complain about our own issues. We have internal dysfunction, and that's what we don't want to be labeled at. There's a word for it, but I'm not thinking about it right now. But you know what I'm talking about? Like, we're the root of our own issues.
Okay, yeah. I think I understand what you're saying.
That's basically the definition without the word. And that's why I don't want to be labeled like that. I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I don't be in my way. It's almost like someone who's on drugs that continually buys drugs. Yeah. And it's like, well, of course you're not going to be.
Because sometimes I feel I'm like, does Black Lives Matter care about me? And I get it. But like, hey.
Well, that's why there's Blue Lives Matter.
Well, okay, but check it. I'm not white. And no one thinks I'm white. You know how many times I go somewhere, they think I'm Arab? Or I went into a jewelry store.
What do they do? They start thinking you have money, or they start talking to you?
People speak Farsi to me. They'll speak different languages to me, and I get it, but who's looking out for me? And that's what it makes me feel like. It's not like I'm saying the movement is wrong.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's better to be. It's exotic. I just sometimes feel like
that's Arab though.
Who's caring about me? And it's not to take away from that. I'm just saying what the different emotions I go through when I hear certain things. Who's fighting for my rights? Who's fighting for my right to party? And I get these feelings, but then like I tell you, I get these empowerment. Like when I hear Black Lives Matter, yeah, they do. I have black friends. If something were to happen to them, I'd be devastated. If something were to happen to my black mother, I'd be devastated. To my black brothers, I'd be devastated. I'm not saying brothers like AS. I'm like ER. Like those are my family members. Like legit. Like I grew up with them. Like since birth, I got diapers changed. We took baths together. Like, those are my brothers. I'd be devastated, and I get emotional when I talk about that. And that's why I don't want to feel this way of like I don't want my black family to go, why are you talking like this? And I'm just trying to express because I don't know how to feel, because everybody's telling me what I should feel. And it's too much. The daily person is too much. I have to go home after a 9 to 5, after running businesses, and then I want to put a book out. I want to do a podcast, and I have to have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend, and we want to start a family one day or get married. I'm trying to focus on this, and I'm being told I'm wrong because I'm not caring as much. And so I have my different emotions off and on. And I feel like everybody's going through that, but no one wants to have that honest conversation. Everybody wants to be like, oh, it always matters. No, the fuck it doesn't. It doesn't always fucking matter because you're not thinking about it 24/7.
What do you think about the cheeky comedy? My last point. What do you think about the cheeky comedy in Black Panther against, the white male, the white CIA agent?
I thought it was funny.
Everybody thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
But I mean, those things stick with you.
He is a white boy.
He said cool, or she said cool, another white boy to save. And then I think she retorted to something about him colonialism or something like that. Oh, you colonial guy or something like that.
And okay, that's for the most part it's true, but it's also like I feel like it's racist because it's like, well, what is he German?
Yeah.
Is he white to you? Is he European? Is he Australian? Australians never colonized anybody.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about here?
But Russell Peters had something in his stand-up, and he was like, criticizing each race by their acts, by their tongue.
Yeah.
And so he would say, oh, you go and you bring all the business to the community, but you take all the money out, or something like that, talking about like Indians and Chinese people. And then he was like, oh, well, you black people come through here and shoot everything up there and leave. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody laughs because it's true. So it's like, why is it so funny? Because it's true.
The stereotypes are generally true. They're not going off of stereotypes. Don't go off of skin color. They go mainly off of cultures.
Yeah, but people actually believe that though. They'll believe this is how it is. It's like, oh yeah, this is how it is, right? Like,
Okay, I just have one question, and I'm trying to remember the question because I can forget anything in a hot second. Okay. I see it and I'm in disbelief because it also means I can't do it as well. Can black people be racist? Yes or no? Is it possible for a black person to be racist? And here's the argument.
Do they have the ability to be racist? Yes.
Can they be racist? In the sense of, I guess the definition of racism, which was classified in the Oxnard Dictionary, is off of skin color and off of, a different culture. Now it's getting moved to if you don't have sources of power, if you don't have, this irrefutable strength that no one can stop you with, it's all about power now. Racism is about power and not by skin color or classification.
I thought it was believing that some race or group of people that are inferior to your own. That's what I thought racism is. But I mean, yeah, of course. Look, South Africa. Of course. And people kind of give us a break or, our past because of, the history of black people. But, I say a lot of things that are construed as racism are racist, but do I feel that way? Generally, I don't. But we all have our prejudices. But I mean, yeah, black people are racist and probably the most. If you think about it, but they don't have the platform to make it known, and they don't have the platform to actually change the world because of their thoughts.
Okay, so then it's gonna get into, well, how is that racist then? It's like, well, they're trying to be racist.
I just said it was. Well, yeah, they're not good at it. But that's no, I mean, essentially that's what it is. But I mean, we all pick and choose. Like, we can say something, but then like, oh, I'm gonna go date a Mexican girl, or you know what I mean, or I'm gonna go to PB Shore and hang out with a bunch of white people, you know what I mean? Or I'm gonna go to get Punjabi or something like that,
Because it drives me crazy because I got in an argument with an old friend and she's all liberal now and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with being liberal. There's nothing wrong with being conservative. You gotta balance. And you're allowed to have your preferences over the other. That's in his discussion. But her thing was Mexicans and black people cannot be racist. And I go, why? Because they have no power. And I go, okay, what's your capacity of power?
Yeah.
Is it having power just in this 10 by 10 room right here where you can hurt me more than I can hurt you because you have all your strength while I don't. You have more power than me. Is that the power we're talking about? Or is it mental power where I can be more quick-witted than you, Darik, and put you down faster than you can talk? And that's me having more power over you if I had it, whatever it may be. What power are we talking about? Power to, get a march to go, power to make a law change. What is your definition of power at this point? Because I have a salon and barbershop, and one of my workers, she's a white girl, and she's married to a black man for 5 years. But due to some circumstances, she has to leave and go back. Apparently, because the family go back to Kansas, where she's originally from. Oh, because they moved to California for a better life, and they live with his family, all black, obviously.
Okay,
and I guess it's just a little bit. I can't speak on her circumstances. From what I understand, they're a little bit. She has said it. They're racist towards me, a white girl. They're racist towards the white girl. And with the power that they have, are forcing her to move out and get out of here. And so that's power. Power, no matter how small or how big, to someone else, that power is grand. And
we don't know all the details of it. It's good because she sets a thermostat to 67, where it's tie-dye clothes throughout the house. And there's an absorbent amount of mayonnaise on one top shelf in the refrigerator.
I think so many people want to talk about this power dynamic, but it's like you can have power in anything. A girl walking down an alley and there's a man there. The guy obviously has more physical power than her. That's why she feels scared. So we need to stop acting like power is this.
I don't agree with that. Anybody could be racist or race inferior, or, something like that. Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna wrap this up. We always do early morning podcasts, and just what I wanted to just say is, for those listening to this, I'm not a bigot. I'm not racist. Believe me, I'm not. I say a lot of racist, funny shit, but I want to be a comedian one day. We all say that funny shit. We all do that. And I think I needed to get it off my chest the same way a lot of people actually feel is one day I do want to care and the other I don't, because sometimes I don't see your point. Sometimes I don't feel like anybody cares about me, and I just can't care about too many people because what am I going to do with my family? It's hard to care for a million people. It's hard. How do you? And so, our emotions are going to fluctuate on whether we believe gun control, whether we believe, Black Lives Matter is actually a good movement or not, because we're going to see different things and other people are going to ruin it for us or whatever it is. There's a million things that happen. It's okay to have these stark realizations that you're going up and down on this roller coaster of caring and not caring, caring and not caring. What I recommend is this book by Sebastian Junger, Tribal, speaks on 60 to 100 people. Your daily interactions, within a week, a month, a year, you probably will go between 60 to 100 people, whether it be family, friends, coworkers, people you see at Stater Brothers, your grocery market, the tailor. You're going to interact with at least 100 people that you'll see more occasionally than not. That's where your change happens. You have conversations. You're nice. If you're white and you go to a department store and the worker's black, just have a conversation. It doesn't have to be about this. Just be nice. And that might change the outlook on what they think is racist or not. That's where you make the movement. That's where you make the change. And I never want to have a podcast, this serious and not give anybody something that I believe that could work, because I'm a Christian. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what your skin color is. I don't. You're my brother. I love you. And I say it with the ER because you're my family now. Not with the A.
But I was actually thinking about that in my head when he said it. I was sounding and spelling it out. I was like, what does he say?
But we're all going to be frustrated. We're all going to have those differences in our own opinion about what we believe in. Just do your best within those 60 to 100 people. And then if you feel like you have the energy to go out and do rallies and make changes, petitions, laws and all, that's when I advise you to really step out and to hit those marks. But for now, I think a lot of people are overwhelmed, and that's from a lot of anecdotal evidence that when I have conversations, and me, I like to have conversations. You got anything else to say?
No, but I just said don't get in your own way. That's it.
And black people,
with your own thinking.
Black people, I'm raising my hand right here. Can the Black Lives Matter movement focus on black people being late? I'm just saying, Black Panther started an hour late because they want.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in 2017.
It was supposed to come out 2017, but because a bunch of black people made it, they got to the set late and had to reshoot some
That
things.
wasn't even built yet.
All right, we're done being racist.
All right.
If you think that this was a great podcast, leave some comments. If you hate us, leave some comments, and we won't read them, or we'll laugh and think that you're done when you post them. But thank you for listening. We're out.